welcome everyone to, this is the seminar we're doing here in Chicago. I'm John Carter. Hubert Sanders, my partner, will also be up here talking about everything that we're going to be doing. What this course is going to be about, and it was kind of we've got actually a really nice mix of people here because we've got people who have been to our seminars before. This is kind of our most advanced seminar that we put together. It's got all of our latest materials and things like that, so you guys will kind of be able to benefit from that, and then also obviously a lot of new faces as well. And let me do a quick survey right now. How many people here right now trade futures? Just if you just trade them up. So pretty much everyone. And then who here has never, I know a couple of you have never, who here has never traded anything, never's traded? Down here, the cameraman, great, okay. That's good.
Don't quit your job.
Yeah. He'll be throwing on 100 lots by Wednesday.
Big ticket.
Exactly. So what we're going to do here is just do a kind of a quick introduction. I'm going to make sure this mouse actually works. It's kind of just kind of give you an idea of what this seminar is going to be about. Really, what we do and what Hubert and I specialize in is short-term trading in the futures markets. Okay. It's really looking for it's a combination of doing some scalping stuff and then also some shorter-term trading. A lot of it's focused on day trading. Hubert just extensively day trades with some minor swing trading, whereas myself, I'm kind of half swing trading, half day trading, and we'll be talking about that. We also talk a lot about the trading that we've learned to do. We've learned to do the hard way. Okay, it took me 8 years before I could get consistently profitable and started full-time trading in 1996. I've pretty much made every mistake along the way. I've learned many different ways to lose money, and it was finally through trial and error and a lot of pain and suffering that I kind of put together my trading philosophy. So also what we're going to do is talk about, there's some certain things in the markets that are inherent that'll take advantage of newer traders. And there's a lot of things that people won't realize when they're first starting out, and that has to do with your own. It's kind of like the mental games that go on with traders. Because a lot of times what will happen is the reason people are trading and they're losing money has nothing to do with like the markets they're trading. It has to do with the mental games that they're playing and things like that. You're up, you're down, and all that kind of stuff. So as we go through all the different setups that we talk about, we're also going to be talking about the mental aspect of that too. And what I want you guys to do is what's going to happen is, this manual is like 550 pages, is there's a lot of information in here. You don't need to you don't have to understand every nuance. What I want you to focus on is there's going to be some ahas that's like, oh wow, that really stands out. That is applicable to me. And I want you to make a note of that and write it down. Because what's going to happen then is after the seminar is over, this is going to be a data dump of information. Just really focus on that. In my experience, what happens in my learning process in trading was that you kind of go through and you find bits and pieces of all this information out there, and the bits and pieces that stand out to you are the ones that's going to fit your personality the best. And that's really the most important thing. And we'll be going through and talking about that. There are markets out there. The thing to remember is when you're trading a market, you're not trading the actual market. If you're trading the S&Ps, you're not trading the S&Ps. You're trading against other people who are trading the S&Ps. So you're trading against other traders. And you want to make sure that you're trading against traders that you can win against. If you're trading against S&P traders, these are a lot of times you're seeing one of the best traders in the world. They're jacked up on 3 cups of Starbucks. They're in there, getting quarter-point spreads. And if you're in there trying to compete against them, it's not going to work out too well. So it may turn out that your personality is more suited to the Dow futures or to bonds or to swing trading stocks. And these are things that by the end of this seminar, you should have a better idea of, kind of your own personality. And then one of the things that we're going to do probably on the 3rd or 4th day is we're going to go over a very extensive and detailed business plan for traders. And this is something that took me a while to comprehend and to kind of get to, it took me a couple of years, and I put together like a 1-paragraph business plan. And how that's evolved has been into today it's like a 15-page plan, because really what happens is that trading takes over your whole life. Okay, if you're trading, you're thinking about your trades. During the weekend, it's like, yeah, it's great. Everybody that's working in corporate America loves the weekend. Traders hate the weekends. It's like, when's Monday going to get here so I can trade again? And it's just kind of, looking at that, incorporating that into the business plan. Okay, so what we're going to cover specifically, we really go from soup to nuts in doing this. Okay, we're going to start off, we're going to go through real basic some of the stuff with the markets. just really, we're going to go through the basic stuff. I mean, most of you guys in here have already traded futures, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on like the beginning basics, just enough just to make sure everybody understands like some of the specifications for the futures contracts. But we're going to be going over, it's like what are some of the best hardware and software to be using, just kind of make sure you're up to speed on that. If you've got hardware and software that's not really up to speed, you're trading at a disadvantage, so we want to make sure that you're up to speed there. We're going to go through probably the most important section that we're going to cover during this whole seminar we're going to cover today, and that's the market internals. It's a short section, like 45 minutes, but if you understand that, then the rest of this whole thing is a lot easier. If you don't understand that, you're going to be struggling. So when we get to that section, I want you guys to make sure just to be, ask questions, make sure you understand that. We're going to be going over 12 or 13 different setups that we're going to be talking about. These are mostly applicable to futures markets, or what we talk about is on futures markets, but you can use these on any market pretty much. Anything that we talk about, like on the Dow Index futures, you can use on the Russell, or you can use on the S&Ps, or you can use on individual stock. A lot of these will also work in Forex, and so if you have specific questions about that, just let us know. We're going to talk about specific trades that we'll do during the doldrums, and from there, we're also going to kind of sprinkle in some things about, here's some, daily market preps that we do. I mean, for me, I like to kind of get up, I do most of my research at night, and then get up about an hour before the market opens and get in. Hubert, the market opens at 9:30, 9:29, his alarm goes off, and he's ready to go. So
That's not funny, man. It's 9:28.
That's on Fed day.
That's right.
So the thing that's kind of nice is that Hubert and I actually, we look at exactly the same stuff, but we trade a lot differently. And I think one of the nice aspects of it is that you'll see how it kind of, again, fits your own personality. If we're looking at an indicator and using it, reading it the same way, but doing our trades differently, you'll get an idea of how, how to do that. Because it's not just, a lot of times people think when you're trading, it's just like, okay, what's my setup? Where's my entry point? And that's like 10% of it, okay? Setups are a dime a dozen. Once you get into a trade, you have to know a couple of things. Where is your exit point? Are you going to get in? Are you going to scale in? Or are you going to get all in? Are you going to scale out? Or are you going to get all out? These are things that you can't think about while you're in the trade. You need to know right away. And so you're going to see when we do a setup, you'll also see how Hubert and I manage the trade. And then again, if you see things that you like that I do, or you see things that you like that Hubert does, you'll kind of gravitate towards one or the other of us. But steal whatever you can from us, because we've learned all this the hard way. And again, any questions on that, let us know. We're going to go over trading psychology and some things like that. And then also, we're going to be doing a couple of some live trading. Now, it's not going to be like full days of live trading, because really, this is an extended seminar. We really want to focus on the information, but there's going to be a couple of times when we want to bring up the live market data, especially the market internals, and just kind of show you guys how we all tie it in together, take some trade setups and things like that. But remember, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're also going to be leaving this building. We're going to go to the Chicago Board of Trade. We're going to go to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and different things like that. So it's going to be a nice, broad overview of everything that we do. Those of you that listen to Pit Noise, of course, Ben Lichtenstein will be coming in here, which will be interesting. I guess the main thing I'm just trying to think of from this is like, the main thing is what's going to happen, especially toward the end of the day, is you guys are just going to feel like, wow, this is a lot of information. Just remember, don't worry about missing stuff. It's just the key thing is just kind of find the key points. And as you'll see as we go through all this stuff, we're going to talk about the stuff that we think is the most important as well. What I want to do real quick now is I'm going to go through my background, and then once I'm done, what I'd like to do is kind of go through and just you guys just like minute and a half, name, rank, and serial number. I just want to know like how long you've been trading. It'll give me a better feel of when we're talking about different trade setups and stuff like that. I'll remember like, okay, 60% of these guys are going to know this, or 40% aren't. I know everybody loves to do that, but it'll go by quickly. Personally, for me, I've been trading since 1985. I started as a sophomore in high school. My dad was and still is a broker with Morgan Stanley. And in retrospect, now that I've learned about the business, I realize that he was just trying to generate more commissions. But that's okay. That's okay. It was something that stuck. And I guess the biggest experiences that I had from trading is that I found I was really good. I could take like a $10,000 account and turn it into $120,000, $150,000 in the course of a year. And I did that 3 times, once in high school and twice in college. And all 3 times what would happen is when I got up to this amount, I'd pause, I'd take out about $20,000 or $30,000, buy some rental properties, which was like the smart thing I did. And then from there, I'd sit there and say, wow, I made now I got $100,000 left. I'm going to turn this into $1 million. So then I'd go back to trading, and literally in 3 to 4 weeks, I'd just blow my entire account out. And how does that happen? Well, that happens when you buy 150 OEX puts at 7 and you sell them for 20 cents. And what would happen is I really thought about this because it was frustrating. I'm sitting there going, you know what, I can make money here, but I was never confident enough to go into trading full time because I had problems keeping the whole thing. Why couldn't I grow it consistently? And I figured out, and this is like, this is from reading Mark Douglas's books, Trading in the Zone and The Disciplined Trader, and just doing a lot of work. And I think for maybe a week I blamed my mother. If it's not one thing, it's your mother. Is that the saying? But really, what it came down to was, what I figured out is when I had $10,000, I wasn't that excited. Okay, when I had $10,000, if a setup came along, I'd take it. When I had the $100,000 and all of a sudden I was trying to make $1 million, I was getting excited. So what I figured out is when I was focusing on the setup and not the money, I made profits. When I focused on the money and not the setup, I got killed. All right, so that's kind of the theme of my trading. I'm really a setup-based focused trading. I'm not into watching the P&L intraday and things like that. If you can learn to have the discipline to follow the setups the same way each and every time, and not get sucked in. The biggest problem I see with traders, because we bring in traders, they sit next to us for a week, and even though we're telling them, this is what we do, they're going to follow our trades, the urge is so irresistible. You get into a trade, they're up 10 points, and we're still staying in the trade, and I'll see them literally just sneaking over to the keyboard, trying to sell it. And it's like, what are you doing? And it's like, well, no. And this is under a semi-supervised situation. So people on their own, it's just kind of like, I think that's the biggest problem, is you get into a trade, you see a little bit of a profit, you want to take it, the ticks go down 5 points, and you're like, okay, I got to get out of this trade. And it really comes down to is the discipline to follow your setups. And so what we're going to show you is the setups. We're going to help you with the discipline. But a lot of the times, the discipline part is really up to you guys. And just to encourage you, we're going to kind of show you some things that we've used and things like that. But that's the toughest part. So I've been doing this full time now since '96. I'm a commodity trading advisor and principal in Razor Trading, a money management firm. My background is I started off as an options and stocks trader. Now I trade mostly futures and forex, although also stocks and options too. Pretty much my portfolio is divided into about 30% swing trading stocks and options, 30% swing trading futures and currencies, and then 30% day trading futures and currencies is basically what I do. I've just talked about this. I'd say the biggest aha for me in my trading, and this is after I had blown out my 3 accounts, I was really getting frustrated. I was at the point where either I'm going to do this for a living or I'm not going to do this for a living. So I went and spent a couple of months with traders that had been doing this for a living, doing this for 20 years. They're sitting in their office, they're making money. And when I went in there, I guess the biggest thing that stood out to me, because at this point, I knew everything about every technical analysis indicator. My charts had like 30 indicators on them. I knew how to use everything, but I wasn't keeping my cash. That's a problem if you're trying to make a living as a trader. And what happened was I'd sit down with this guy. The first one I spent was with it was the Georgia lady. I go down there, and this lady is introduced by my broker, and I go down to this farmhouse, and I knock on the door, and this little school teacher comes out, and it's like, yes, can I help you? And I was just like, yeah, I'm looking for the S&P futures trader. She's like, yes, come on in. And I thought it was prejudice. I thought it was going to be your husband or something like that. And she comes over and sits me down, throws on 100 lots of the big contract on the S&Ps. So it's like, God. Which is like 500 minis, right? And so we sit there, and the biggest thing I just remembered is that we sat there for a week, and she made like four or five trades. But the first day, right when I sat down, happened to be we sat down for like half an hour. She threw on a trade, big S&Ps, 10-point stop, got out of it at the end of the day, made like 2 points, and it swung all of these different ways. The second day we sat there all day long, and she didn't do anything. I'm just like, what? The market's moving. The market had a great day. Why aren't you trading? And she's like, my setups did not happen. was like, okay, so even though you could have made money when this went up, you didn't take the trade because you didn't have a setup. She's like, my setups didn't happen. And she like kept banging that into me. I'm like, okay. So, and then I went to another, and I'm still in contact with her, and she's still, she trades. She won't trade the minis. She likes the big S&P. And it's amazing. Went with another guy. And same thing. 20 years. I walk into his office. He's got one little like cathode ray tube from 1972. He watches time and sales on the big S&Ps, and he watches ticks. Time and sales on the ticks. First day, nothing. Market moves, goes all over the place, nothing. Why aren't you taking a trade? My setups didn't happen. Okay. The next day he takes one trade, and by this time I had already traded like a Nazi. It was so this really sunk home with me. And so these guys, they didn't care if they missed a move. Okay, that really stood out with me. They didn't have to catch every move. That's a big aha. You don't have to catch every move. They wanted to just wait. It was like they were factory workers. When their setup came along, they would execute the setup. Okay, and that was a big lesson for me. So it wasn't so much, it's really about, it's the market that you're choosing, it's the methodology that you use to trade the market. Okay, what I see a lot of beginning people do is they get into the green bar buy, red bar sell syndrome. Okay, they don't want to miss any moves. Oh, we got green bars, it's going higher, I'm going to buy it. But these guys had specific setups. So that kind of got us started into let's find specific setups to use and not just kind of let's see what's going to happen. Okay, and then finally the thing I found out is another guy I worked with, he was a bond trader, makes $1 million a year trading bonds. He decided at one point, and I went and sat down with him while he was trading bonds. He went and decided at one point he wanted to try the S&Ps because the S&Ps were sexy and exciting. Traded the S&Ps, lost $760,000 that year. So he had a moment of clarity. It's like, well, maybe I'll go back to trading bonds. And that worked out really well for him. And the bottom line with that was that bonds suited his personality well. S&Ps did not suit his personality at all. He made money in bonds, lost money in the S&Ps. Okay? So that was a big aha for me. If you're trading, you can know what you're doing, but if you're trading the wrong market for your personality, it's an uphill battle for you. And that's something that you want to work with as well. I'm also, the nightmare of my life was November through April of this year. I had this due date, and Hubert's too. I had to get this book done. I had signed it with McGraw-Hill, and it got to the point where it's just like, you think books would be, I know this stuff. It won't take long to write. When I finally figured out that I wasn't going to make the deadline, I'd stay up till like 6 in the morning, sleep till 11, get all the stuff done, which left Hubert kind of doing a lot of the trading accounts on his own. So it was a lot of fun for both of us. But anyway, that's done, and that'll be coming out and talk in more detail about this too. So I want to do this. I want to go ahead and just start with everyone else in the room here.
My name's Greg Mason. I've been trading since the middle of the fabulous 90s. I started out as a stock trader. I specialized in Microsoft and ended up trading basically off a 1 and a 3 minute chart using the S&P futures as a leading indicator. And when Microsoft split and the momentum went away, I decided I should start pursuing. I always thought that I should pursue the futures anyhow because it just seemed easier to trade than Microsoft a lot of times.
How long have you been trading futures now?
Well, if you don't count the time I've been following the futures, for about a year.
Okay, and what do you think is the biggest thing you're trying to look for just in this?
Consistency.
That makes sense.
When you traded Microsoft, did you use the futures to try to figure out where Microsoft was going?
Exactly. I used the S&P as a leading indicator, and I traded off a stochastic and a moving average envelope. And I got to where I was relatively profitable and on a consistent basis. But then Microsoft split, and the momentum went out of the stock. And while I was looking for another vehicle to trade, the world darn near fell apart. This was when what happened first? I can't remember whether it was 2000 and 9/11 or the malfeasance epidemic when Enron and all those issues were coming out. But I sort of backed off from the markets then, and I just sort of been waiting back in within the last year or so when I've seen the momentum coming back in.
Okay, Robert.
Hi, my name is Robert San Diego. I'm probably the worst person as far as timing a trade. I took a position the last day of March of 2000, and I lost.
It must have been long.
Yeah, long.
Okay.
I lost my shirt, so I've been fearful of the market since then. I haven't taken a trade since the last day of March.
Really? Okay, so that's great. Okay, and when coming here, are you looking more at stocks or futures, or just kind of seeing what's...
Futures.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Cooper.
Hi, my name is Cooper Bates. This is real simple. I'm here to see if Hubert and John Carter can take me from 0 to 60 in 4 days. So I haven't traded anything in my life.
My name's Harold Nielsen. My son and I are from Charleston, South Carolina. We run a small civil engineering firm there, and we started looking at the futures market several years ago through Ken Roberts. Gravitated to Woody's CCI site, followed that for some time, and accidentally discovered your website, John and Hubert, and actively follow it now. We've been following it now for probably a month.
Okay.
And we started trading actively in the Forex market maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
In and out. We really haven't made much money. We really are here for the consistency in making profits. And we're now just starting to trade the index funds and have everything set up and ready to go.
Okay, very good.
My name's Kevin Nielsen. As my dad explained, mostly what I'm coming here for is my biggest struggle is the pulling the trigger. Psychologically, I'm struggling with that. But
so you see the setup and just kind of...
it goes.
Okay,
you know,
gotcha. Okay.
Tough, but that's really the what I'm trying to get out of this seminar this week.
Very good.
Okay. My name is Tanya Fanning, and
You from Georgia?
no. Well, originally I'm from Moscow, Russia. So that's what you hear the accent coming from. But I live in the U.S. now for 11 years. And when I came, I saw that as the greatest opportunity in this country to trade. Okay, so I went in and traded stocks since '96. The 2002 and 2003 and 2004 were the greatest years in my life. So we did like, we had TradeStation to trade automatically. We had about, I believe the maximum about 25 stocks, which just traded for us. We did very well. Well, by the end of 2004, it got very difficult with shorting. For some reason, I don't know if it's bear stearns or whatever, it was tough to find anything to short.
On TradeStation, yeah.
Which would follow the systems.
Yeah, they got a new clearing firm and their short list went.
It was just very difficult. They used to be the best, but we moved completely to futures. Well, right now, in the moment, we tried to put some systems in futures. We prefer to trade systems automatically. Well, it's tough. I can tell you to find anything to trade S&P US or Dow automatically. So we bought one of your systems, the bricks and stuff. That brought us to Grail systems. I don't know if you've heard of them. Well, my husband works very close now with Walter, and he's a vice president of the firm now. So, I'm here. I don't like as much as systems because I prefer, like Hubert, day trading and discretionary because I want to be in and out fast. So I'm here to get more, just more knowledge and more consistency and everything. I don't know what else to say.
That's good.
That's about it.
Okay. My name is James Patterson. I started trading mostly stock options about two and a half years ago, and it's like I tried to do it full time for a while when I had some time, and then started doing it part time, and then I just examined my record, and it wasn't really good. It was profitable, but there was a lot of commission, and I figured for the amount of time I'm putting into it, I wanted more money, and so I just decided to take a break for like a week or so, and just made a list of every possible trading strategy or methodology I'd heard of. And day trading futures and swing trading futures were some of the options. So I did some research and I found your website. And I went to your website and got your 2-week trial and signed up for your room, and I liked it. And so I ordered one of your CDs. And I like the methodology, and I've decided to pretty much go forward with it. And I've decided I'm going to mainly trade futures and just currency. I've actually never traded stock, just options. I like leverage.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hello, my name is Steve Epke. I started trading about 12 years ago in the commodities markets. I was introduced to, I think it was Ken Roberts, and I traded commodities for a couple of years. Then I got away from it and started trading stocks. And pretty much I've been trading mostly stocks since then, mainly swing and position trading. The last 6 months, I've started to get into the futures. I'm looking at the E-minis.
Okay.
So, and I'm looking at currencies too, but I really haven't traded those. And I don't want to kind of overwhelm myself, but so I'm looking to refine my strategies. I need to get my psychology down. So those are the kind of things I'm looking for from the seminar.
Okay.
My name is Bob Graham. I'm from Miami, Florida. I've been trading since the middle of the year 2000. Started out with Pristine and Oliver Velez. Went to one of their seminars. Immediately tried to follow their particular way to trade. It was fairly successful for me, but it wasn't leveraged enough for me. So then I went to our great gurus, Mr. Schaefer and Mr. Martin Weiss, which have some services, and I was going to let those people tell me how to trade. Unfortunately, I've come to the conclusion that it can be very, very expensive. In their brochures, they say, please, whatever you do, don't sell till we tell you. I was short $170,000 on 9/11 on all puts in options, and in 3 days, my account went from $170,000 to plus $390,000. And not one single stupid Robert sitting in Miami looking at all of this. Whoa, what do I do? What do I do? Not one single person told me to sell one single put. And within 5 days, I was down to $170,000. I says, I don't need this anymore. And I got out of my puts. And from that point on, I got out of stocks, I got out of options, and I went into the S&P E-minis, and I've been trading them since. And what I'm looking for, I use Realtick and for my program and charting. I also use eSignal for a backup signal for eSignal. I use Investor RT for another charting system for indicators and certain things that I like to have the way they can put it on the screen. And what I'm looking for primarily now is more knowledge, because I want to be able to figure out what I want to do, and I don't need somebody to tell me what to do. I want somebody to teach me how to fish so I can catch the fish instead of somebody trying to sell me a fish and get out of the easy work. And that's the main thing I'm trying to do, is get more knowledge for more confidence. Confidence, in my opinion, overcomes my fear. My fear is not to overtrade, and to grab the patience, which you brought out, John, earlier this morning. And it was a big aha. You do not have to trade 100% of the time. I start at 7 o'clock in the morning getting prepared for trading, and I work all the way up till 5 and 6 o'clock at night. I watch every tick on the E-mini all day long, and my eyes are jumping up and down when I'm sleeping. And it's a very, very stressful thing.
Man, that's insane. It opens up at 9:30.
I know, but my 9:28 alarm goes off at 7, and I can't sleep because when my alarm goes off at 9:30, it says, hey, quit doing all your research, get back to it and watch the market. And I would like to know, one of the things I'd really like to know is to know a little bit more about the opening. I'd like to know about the first 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. Everybody says some people, the people tell you trade, don't trade, and I would like to know a little bit more about the very, very opening part of the E-minis. And
Sure.
Although I'd like to apply all of, I've now purchased all of your bricks and your squeezes and your shorts, and I hope today you're going to go through them, because I haven't even put them on my computer yet. I've been waiting for this, because they get me confused. They're not confused. I listen to your videos, both your videos every day, and I really appreciate that. It's been a learning experience. You're the first person that I've seen on your videos that covers the S-Prem and some of the other things that I attempt to use. That's enough for me.
My name is Richard Schwartz, and I'm not much of a trader. My wife does a lot of the trading, and she basically kicked me out of the house and told me that if I wanted to talk with her, that I better learn some of these terms. So
Damn. You know, my wife's a trader too, but she trades the American Express for clothes.
So I'm here to learn the terminology, put a plan together so that maybe she'll look at me the right way. And let me give you the next man.
Hello, my name is Joseph Michalko, and I'm 29 years old, and first time I started to trade when actually it was when I was 14 when we first bought a satellite. And originally I'm from Europe, from Czech Republic, and at that time having a satellite was a big thing, and the only channel that made sense was CNBC. So I asked my economy teacher to explain me those numbers, and he had no idea. So since then I'm kind of in search of those numbers, and it wasn't until 3 years ago when I met a friend of mine that took a class with one of the companies, I don't want to name that, and basically he introduced me to that, and I started to put the whole picture together, and I'm kind of almost where I made all the mistakes, and I started to make money basically approximately 6 months ago, where I started with buying options and selling options, and I really couldn't get anywhere because the time was against me, and I was really naive, and it wasn't until I started to sell options and use spread trades, to just let the trade go, So, but then I figured out that one of my friend was kind of doing futures, and she introduced me to one of you guys, so that's how I got in touch. And after purchasing your indicators, I kind of got to like them a lot, and so I'm kind of in search of this truth behind this whole thing, and I don't take no for the answer. If people tell me you can't really make money in the stock market because a lot of people lose, yeah, that's fine, but I'm not one of those that is going to lose, I'm going to be one of those going to make, So I have this strong belief that there is a way to make money, and if you just really want, and believe in yourself. So that's next.
Okay. Hi, my name is Wendell Lowe. I've been trading since 1982. Stocks. I started trading options about 12 years ago. Basically do spreads on the triple Qs, and I'm going to call them triple Qs as long as they exist. I don't care if they add 4 or 5 more to them.
Yeah.
The cubes, anyway. Do credit spreads on those on a monthly basis. Been playing with options futures about 2 years. They've been playing with me mostly, but I'm looking to get consistent, make some money.
Okay.
Hi, my name is John O'Donoghue. I'm basically, my profession is a software developer, and I've been trading futures for about 15 years. And I got started trading Eurodollar futures and Treasury bond futures and other commodities. And I've done very well with the Eurodollar and bond futures because I think I understand what drives them, what economically drives them, and what the fundamentals are. I've tried to do the Dow Mini futures, and I've the setups. I'm really good at the setups, but I'm having a hard time taking profits, and that's one thing. If I could learn how to take profits better, I could be successful in the mini futures as well. So
yeah, I mean that's a part of a lot of the setups that we'll talk about too. It's like one of the things that we were always frustrated with is like when we were through our learning curve, it was always like, oh yeah, here's a great setup, but you never learned how to manage it and how to get out of it. And that's most of our emphasis will be on that.
And the bonds is kind of on a longer term time frame, so it's easier for me to figure out what to do than short term. So
okay.
Well, my name is John Gennady. I'm from Chicago area. I started paper trading last June, and I was doing very well.
Funny how that
up
works.
Until October when I actually started trading. In my first 3 trades, I lost $20,000, and just about made it back at the end of January. I was about $2,000 away, and then it's been all downhill since then. I haven't blown out my account yet, but I'm just above water right now, and why I'm coming here is I just want to get more consistency in my trading, my mindset is psychology-wise, and to learn as much as I can from these two guys.
Hi, I'm Bill Shug, excuse me, and I've been trading futures for, I guess, 15 years or so, and not really successfully until I met these guys about a year ago, so I've been doing well since then, pretty well. And I just quit my real job or my day job and be doing this full-time from now on, so looking forward to that. Thanks.
My name is Janet Fudsen. I've been trying to trade some stocks, and now it's futures. I've been trying that for a few months and haven't been successful lately, so I try to get consistency and figure out how it works. And that's about it.
Okay, good enough.
Hi, my name's Mitch, and I've been trading about 2 years. Started with swing trading stocks, and I got into the single stock futures and the E-minis and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff, too much stuff out there to trade. I want to hone in on just one thing or a couple of things and some setups and get the consistency.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Bill Wheeler from Richmond, Virginia. I learned about John and Hubert from the site y'all used to have some videos on trading markets. And I took your online seminar in January, February of this past year. Started trading some futures and did pretty good on that. And recently I've basically blown up my account. And
That's good. You got it out of the way.
I hope so. Well, I might be hitching back to Virginia. But I have, I guess, I have a bearish approach on the market, and I just need to try to overcome my psychology and emotional edges.
So you really only feel comfortable shorting, pretty much, or is it?
I love to short, yes.
Okay. It works once in a while, too. So it's good.
Morning. My name is Brian Nelson, and I've been trading part-time for 7 years and full-time for about 2 years. I started about 4 hours a day when I first started trading the S&P majors. Prior to that, I didn't know what a future was other than tomorrow. And so that was a bit of a rocker. But I've been to a number of seminars and waded through, and now I've been trading full-time. During the last year, I switched over to trading only the Russells, although I watch 6 other markets. But the Russell I have been trading, and the reason I'm here is that I've seen a couple of the videos, a few of them actually, the daily videos that come out on Trade the Markets. And you guys seem to be at least making a living, and most people who put on seminars actually don't make money. So that I thought would be novel, and my friend at home and I wanted to do this and one other seminar, so he's doing that one this week, and I'm doing this one.
I'm Juliette Nelson, and Brian and I trade together. I've been retired for about 2 years and decided to join him and enjoy the trading, but I need to streamline indicators, I feel, and gain more discipline in setups, consistency, and confidence. And you guys seem to have it, so I hope to learn a lot more from that.
Okay.
I'm also interested in how to use some of the charts with the stocks.
Okay, gotcha.
Hello, I'm Tim Handley. I actually live in London. I only ever do the futures. I've been trading approximately 3.5 years. All my trading is based on proprietary software that I had written for me. I've not used any standard packaging software. My trading was doing pretty well up until, really January, February last year, when I became a little troubled, shall we say.
Okay.
And I don't day trade. I only position trade because I spend half of my life on an aeroplane because I'm in the music industry, so I don't have time to do intraday trades.
You trade in U.S. markets or life or anything
Only
like that?
U.S. markets,
Okay.
just the futures, yeah.
Okay.
Morning. My name is Jerry First. I am Director of Investors Education Network, based out of South Florida, and now doing sessions on HotCom as well as with John and Hubert. I love trading and investing, and one of the things Hubert's, I believe, when he goes into his bio, he talks about how, I believe, you studied under a mentor for a year before you started trading. And I think one of the things when it comes to investing and trading is having the patience and discipline when not to trade. And John already picked up on that. Started trading in 1987. I was working at IBM, worked at IBM for 10 years. Loved looking at charts and graphs and talking to all of the CFOs and accountants who had internet access, and always got in trouble until decided to go ahead and get into trading full-time around 2001. Went from stocks and options, made a lot of money, lost some money. Now I'm into Forex currency. A lot of people are floating over to that trading vehicle. And just really enjoy the fact that I can be here with John and Hubert, fantastic guys, some of the best respected. Love following the videos in the HotCom room, and love meeting with the traders as well.
Hi, my name is Wade Hickey. I live in Oklahoma City. I've traded for 7 years. Made money, lost a lot of money. Looking for consistency. I've been listening to John and Hubert's room for a couple of years, and looking for my style and a trading plan that I can stick with.
Wait, you swing trade or day trade or both?
I've done it all: stocks, futures,
Okay.
options, and I really need to focus in on a couple of
kind of narrow your focus a little
narrow
bit,
it
yeah.
down and get something that I can get consistent on.
Okay. Denise?
Hi, my name is Denise. I got started trading when I was training as a psychoanalyst at the University of Chicago, and some friends of mine were floor traders and always thought I should be a floor trader, and I was like, you got to be kidding if you think I'm going to go down there and wave my arms with you guys. They were going upstairs, and they were like, well, if you come help us keep track of our trades, we'll teach you to trade. So that was a little over a decade ago. I have managed to take 7 figures and turn it into low 3 figures a few times. So it's about time to be profitable. I try to use the psychoanalysis. I do work with some traders, and there's a shoemaker's children kind of thing going on here. I'm here because, number one, I love being in Chicago. Number two, hanging out with good traders I feel is a great thing. You learn a little bit by the things they say off the cuff. And if there's one technical thing I'm here for, it's when I first learned to trade, it was very much a momentum breakout system. And I learned it at what was a very respected proprietary trading firm called Schoenfeld at the time. And I find that I'm having a hard time unlearning that. It's like it still is, it buried into me in my instincts. And so if there's a specific thing I want to work on this week, it's that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Bill Wexel. I've been an investor for many years, buying stocks on fundamentals, and blew out a couple of accounts doing that over the years. And got into more technical analysis a couple of years ago and took the pristine courses, which were pretty good, and have been trading stocks on a swing basis and also on a day trading basis, and somewhat successful trading on a swing basis, not very successful in day trading. And got involved in looking at E-minis a couple of months ago, and really wanted to learn more about E-mini trading on an intraday basis.
Okay.
My name is Mark Moore. I'm from Phoenix, and I started investing in the mid-'80s. I got my MBA at Vandy and did pretty well until the mid-'90s. I wanted to start trading, and I struggled with my fundamentals getting in the way all the time. And started going to a trading room, day trading room, in the mid-'90s before I went to work, and started trading IPOs, and did pretty well in the '90s. And 2000, Merrill Lynch talked me into putting all my retirement income into internet holders, and so that's the account I blew out. And my wife said, "You can do that well, so why don't you do it full time?" Right. So when the technology finally got to the point where I could do it from home, I said goodbye to corporate life and been trading since 2001.
Okay.
And had real good success on the short side. Now that we're on the long side, I had to struggle with that because they go up a lot slower than they go down. And,
that is it. The market takes the stairs up and the escalator down.
Yeah. And a year ago, I started trading E-minis.
Okay.
And did pretty good. And a month ago, I started trading multiple accounts for other people, and I'm having a little troubles hanging on to that first little pullback or something.
Gotcha.
I have to get out. So.
No, that's good. I mean, those are some things we can specifically talk you through, because it's been, in addition to doing our own accounts, it's there's different strategies for managed accounts and things like that too. So, fine.
Hello, my name's Richard Smith. I'm from Peterborough in the UK. I've been trading since I sold my couple of businesses that I had since about the last 10 years. Started off in the UK companies. Went over to. There's obviously more information for the UK for the stocks in the UK. More investor information. So I came over here, and I did reasonably well with stocks and options. Now I've gone over to the YM, the E-mini. Not so much success at the moment, can't get consistency.
Okay.
And I really want more information on the internal indicators because I just cannot get the hang of that at the moment.
And are you day trading or swing trading?
Day trading.
Day trading? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, my name is John Elliott. I'm from Newcastle, England. I started trading stocks in around 97. Reasonably successful with that. Had a little break for a year, then I moved on to CFDs, which is basically trading stocks on margin. Did okay with that, but I was trading very conservatively, so didn't make a lot, didn't lose a lot. And then about 9 months ago, I just got into futures, and I want to move to trade that full time. I've been day trading and swing trading, very up and down. I can do for a few weeks I seem to make a lot, and then one day it'll just change, and then the next few weeks I sort of give it all back. And that's but I'm totally got the bug and want to trade full time.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And then are you doing day trading or swing trading?
I'm doing both at the minute.
Okay, gotcha.
About 50-50.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm Sarah Urbaugh. Full-time, I'm a university professor and administrator, and I'd like to trade part-time and then eventually switch and retire from university work. As I said in Denver, I was at your Denver workshop. I've traded options for 2 years, but based on what happened there, I want to switch to futures. Since Denver, I have paper traded futures with Strategy Runner, and here I just want to move to the next level and get away from the paper because I can see already you can get bad habits trading too much paper and or trading for too long. I'm interested in currencies, although I don't know very much about it, because I figure I probably could trade that and still work at the university a year or two. So
Sure.
that's about where I am.
Okay. Good enough.
And I like swing trading because you got more time, but I also don't have much patience. So I like some of each of your styles. So I'd like trying to figure out,
Yeah, there's actually some way, one of the best ways to do that is you just get two accounts. One that's swing trading, one that's day trading. And in the swing trading, once you set the parameters, you don't even look at it. And it's like when I travel and stuff like that, I mean, I just log in, updating parameters, boom, done.
So, and I enjoy your videos very, very well. I've learned a lot from just doing the videos early in the morning.
Okay. John?
I'm John Meir from Nashville, Tennessee, also in the music business. I'm full-time in the music business, so my trading is kind of on the side. I do keep the room on some days when I'm in the office, so I tell people when they come into the office, just ignore that. It's Hubert. Don't worry about it. So anyway, I started trading probably 4 years ago, options, and I spent quite a lot of money on options education, probably more than I made. Pardon?
Hubert hates options, and he won't trade them.
I've learned to hate options myself. So anyway, I moved into trading Ridex funds, later the Qs, and I guess my nature is to go short term. One of the reasons I don't like options. So about a year ago, I found futures. That was my aha moment. Shortly thereafter, I had a uh-oh moment. This is not not my thing. So, unfortunately, I didn't find you guys for about 5 more months. But fortunately, I did find you through an article of John's in SFO, and it's been improving considerably. I'm here just to get the foundation I should have had from the start.
Good. Okay.
My name is Walter Bass. I'm from Anaheim, California. And I've been trading since 1980. 3 times I've taken $10,000 and and was well over $1 million. One time, almost $3 million, and blew all three of them out. The last one being in the year 2000, trading currencies and stocks. And I went back and I said after the last time, I said, never again. I will not pick it up. My background is public accounting and economics, and I believe, as all through this, that if you marry good fundamentals with the right technicals, you can make money. I think you're stronger if you do fundamentals and technicals. I believe that. But then after the last time I lost my big account, really got hit in the market down in the market crash, and I said I'll never go back to it. Well, I'm back, and I'm going to do it right this time.
Do you have a set plan to like extract some after you make some?
Yes, I do. I really concentrate on currencies because that's my strongest background. I like the way they trend. You can seem to do a lot more with lesser amounts of capital. I would say that I knew the euro when its advent came in 1999. I knew it was going to go down, so I stood on it and turned 10,000 into $1 million in just a few months. No, I didn't. I kept in there because I said I can turn $1 million into $1 billion this way.
Currencies move really well. I mean, we just had the euro pound move. We had it's like a 200. It's like you move you call it like 100 pips is like one large. So you got two large out of that. There's a big move right now in the Swiss trying to break out of 130. The pound's trying to get down and test 170. I mean, they have these great moves.
And I see them all. And now I'm having problems pulling the trigger. I think I've written you a few times saying, how did you guess that move? Because well, I mean, a couple of times I was with him. I was right with him, but I could not. I couldn't pull the trigger when I should. And I see the move setting up for some really volatile swings coming up. My background tells me that, but I'll be honest with you. Now I don't know how to trade. I've actually gone this year. I had 22 losing trades in a row, so I've lost something. I need to get it back. So I really kick myself because of the money I've blown. I've even paid tax on some of that. And,
that's the worst.
And had to get it back.
Yeah, that's the worst. Okay. Thanks, Walter.
Hi, I'm Susana Reaza Meluso from Venezuela, and trading is a change of a career for me. So I started to looking for education. So I've been educated for 2 years now with Pristine, and now that I found you, it's going to be my final exam of the master.
Okay, great. Thanks, Susana.
Hi, I'm Mike McCrary from Auburndale, Florida. Been trading about 3 years. I've done stocks, options. I do trade the E-minis now. I'd like to do it more profitable. Instead of getting a point for the day, it's a 10-point move for the day. I like to stay in it longer.
Okay.
My wife trades Burdines, Dillards, MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. I have 5 children. One of them is here. I try to take one of them everywhere I go. And hopefully they'll learn something. And Jerry First is the one that introduced me to you.
Okay.
Right?
Very good.
Hi, my name is Dominic Brunone. I'm from Houston, Texas. An IT manager for most of my career. Still am. Trading's been an avocation of mine, a hobby since the early 70s. I had a good friend who introduced me to the futures markets then. He took a borrowed $10,000 and turned it into a couple million, catching the moves in gold and sugar in the mid-70s. And I said to him, why the heck don't you just quit and cash in? And after he gave back about $500,000, he did. So ever since then, I thought I was interested in the markets, have a mathematical bent anyway. This fellow took a discretionary account of mine of $6,000 and blew out. the 6,000. So I learned early to have a respect for the markets if he couldn't do it.
Okay.
I got introduced to equities in the early 80s with Stan Weinstein's professional tape reader jumping on momentum, and the big benefit there was stop losses. And I learned to respect stop losses. I've been very inconsistent, I would say, with my trading. Made most of my money position trading and swing trading, looking to establish consistency like a lot of other folks in the room, and looking to help make that transition from part-time to full-time trading, and hoping that you can help with that.
Okay, very good.
Hi, I'm Rob Tedisco from Boston. I've been trading full-time for about 4 years. Prior to that, I was a broker for 7 or 8 years. Probably the worst thing I could have been to go trading by myself. Tried to forget everything. 4 years in, I'm still making the same mistakes I made the first week I started. I look at it, and I do a lot of trade analysis, and I just can't believe I'm making the same mistakes. Adding to losing positions.
Okay. Yeah.
Mental stops. Mental stops. Oh, it'll come back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I've recently, I've done everything: stocks, options, futures. I'm recently looking at the major pairs and currencies.
Okay.
I feel myself going that way. So
okay.
Out of this course, I'm just looking to, get some better indications on which systems to purchase as far as your indicators. I've been with Trade the Markets for about 3 months.
Okay. Yeah, we need to work on your plan too and how you. Yeah.
I don't have a plan.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. We just got done just kind of doing the intro and kind of going through everything there, and now what we want to do is go into the next part of this, which is the hardware and software. And it was really good. I've had just a lot of questions here on the break. I know it's kind of a pain for you guys to have to go through and kind of talk about that, but it really is helpful for me and Hubert, because what will happen is, as we're going through, it's going to be talking about, oh yeah, you remember the guy that talked about, having problems, with his stops and entries, and a lot of times you'll find that people kind of, have common, some common things like that. And so it's very helpful for me as I go through this, just to kind of, relate like my own personal experiences that may help you out and different things like that. And I promise you won't have to do it again during this. So what I want to do now is start off. We're going to kind of go through hardware and software for traders. I'm going to start off, and then Hubert's also going to jump in with this. Hubert's, he's a real kind of a hardware expert. My focus is more on software. And so I'm going to go through and just we'll start talking a little bit about that. And the reason we start here, and this is not going to have anything to do with trading, but it does have to do with the equipment that you're going to use while you're trading. And it's pretty important. So how many people, just a quick survey, how many people in here trade with more than one monitor? Okay, good. How about more than 4? All right. Who has the most monitors?
It's a high number, Cap. We've got 12.
12? Got 12 over here, 12 bid. 16?
16?
My dad's got a screen about 3 feet wide and 4 foot tall.
Oh, really? Okay. Sure. Yeah. Well, and it's good to know. Now as I was talking a little bit in the introduction, remember there was, I talked about, sitting with guys that are doing this for a living, like on a little 12-inch cathode ray tube, okay? Now, which is kind of insane, because then you think about, we've seen guys that have had 25 monitors. Yeah. And it was hilarious because the guy would sit there and it's just like he couldn't do anything because it's like
you couldn't stay in the room. The damn room was so hot.
Oh yeah.
Because it was the old CRTs. You walk in, you're like, oh my god, so you're gonna have radiation poisoning.
He had like a permanent tan from standing in front of
it. It was hot in the room though.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is he'd sit there and on this chart, like he had like the 1 minute, the 2 minute, the 3 minute, the 5 minute, the 7 minute, the 13 minute, the 15 minute, the 30 minute. And what would happen is like the 2 minute would be in a buy, but the 5 minute would be in a sell. It's like, oh, they're canceling each other out. I can't take it. So, yeah.
What did you say?
I said he was a freak.
We made him get rid of some of his monitors. But the point of this is that information overload is one of the most common, trading deficiencies that a trader can get. If you've got too much information coming in, you're not going to be able to make good decisions. Okay, it's really about simplifying the information flow that you're receiving. Now, my thing is I'm very visual. I like to look at charts. So if I've got a screen up, I use 12 monitors, but on one monitor I don't have a lot of crap packed on it. It's like here's 2 charts. Okay, I can stand back from here and see the monitor, 10 feet away, and I can see stuff on there, and it's not, I don't have to squint or anything like that. And it's just important to realize that if a couple of you said that you're having problems pulling the trigger, that might be one thing to look at. Do you have too much information that's coming in? Really, the big thing I think that comes in with not pulling the trigger is you don't have a specific setup that you're playing either. But that's stuff that we'll cover. But that's an important thing to remember. Too much information is a bad thing. And as we go through, we're going to go through the internal indicators. We're going to show you what we look at. There's hundreds of other things you could look at, but you don't need to. You just need a couple of data points so you can decide whether or not you want to take the trade.
What does the lady in Georgia use?
The lady in Georgia, though, who trades the 100 big lots still, she has one monitor. She calls in her orders, and to get quotes, she looks at CNBC. Okay?
How many lots does she trade?
100 of the big ones.
I wonder what Ben calls her orders.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to ask, yeah.
That's a constitutional order almost.
What setup she waits for?
She told me one of them. She wouldn't tell me the other two.
Why?
Because she don't want. She's like I'm not deluded. Yeah, I actually guessed the other two watching her trade.
What were they? How did she come up? What was her background?
Tell us.
Just hold on.
Give it up.
Don't be like the old lady.
Sorry, you had a question? What was it?
What was her background?
She was a high school teacher. No, she taught school, then went to work for Merrill Lynch for 10 years.
And what was her observation?
And thank you. Her observation is that she worked for Merrill Lynch and worked on the futures desk, and everybody there that lost money overtraded and used too tight of stops. Okay? So she just decided that she's going to do exactly the opposite of everybody who's losing money. So what she does is she just does a trade in the morning, uses a 10-point stop, okay, and then just gets out at the end of the day. Done. I do that trade. I mean, that's a trade I do. It's, you just got to have kind of a slight directional bias based on the daily charts. You're out of all the noise. Everybody else in there that's chewing each other up, you just let them do that, and at the end of the day, you come back. Sometimes you get stopped out, but what happens more? So there's going to be times when the S&P has the explosive 20-point move. You're in it, the whole thing.
That's the setup.
Pretty much all the setup is like it's like
It's a premium trade.
Yeah, it's like playing gaps too. It's like you gap down, you just buy it and just hold it to the end of the day, kind of a thing. That's one of the setups that she uses. The other two, she does day trades and then swing trades, and the other two is more of a variation of head and shoulders, and she would work for looking for patterns and stuff like that too. And we'll talk about some of the setups that we use. We'll reference kind of some of the things. I mean, really, all the setups that we've used is stuff we've learned from other people and stuff from ourselves, and that'll be stuff that's incorporated into that. Me personally, I look at 12 monitors because I'm doing swing trading and day trading. So I've got my swing trading set up in separate accounts on separate computers. I've got my day trading on separate computers, and they're separate, literally. When I'm doing swing trading, I set up all my stuff when the markets are closed. I put my parameters on, and I leave it alone. Okay, that's my lesson learned after doing this for years and years and years. When you go in and start screwing with your swing trading parameters intraday, it's not going to work out. Okay. You establish your swing trading parameters when it's objective, when the markets are closed, and then you stick to them. And how you stick to them is one of the best ways is you just don't even watch them during the day. Okay. Second thing with the day trading, I've got a separate account for day trading. Day trade, I track my performance separately with day trading versus swing trading and so on, and that's all stuff we'll talk about in the plan. But anyway, that's why I have my monitor set up like that. For software, I personally use TradeStation and eSignal. Generally, TradeStation is more flexible. You can do more with it. There's some things. I started off using eSignal, and so it's just I'm partial to it. The quote package, the main thing is you got to have just real-time stuff, okay? And you get what you pay for. I like using eSignal mostly for swings, and I use TradeStation for day trading, okay?
There are a couple things to know about TradeStation and eSignal. TradeStation doesn't have they don't have the DAX. Right.
Right. Well, I mean, that's just insane.
So if you're going to trade the DAX, TradeStation's not the best thing in the world. And then another thing to know about eSignal is eSignal does not have a live put-call ratio. Okay.
I don't even think they have a dead put-call ratio.
Yeah. So, but one thing you can do is if you use eSignal, you can just go to the CBOE website, and there's a delayed 30-minute Because, I mean, you don't have to know exactly what the put-call ratio is every second of the day. You're just looking for the overall trend. So we like TradeStation just because we use it more than we use eSignal. That's the only reason we like it.
Yeah, but
Question?
I think I called eSignal like a couple weeks ago and asked about this put-call ratio.
Yeah.
They said that they're working on it.
Yeah,
they said that 2 years ago.
They said that 2 years ago.
They're lying.
Working on it.
They're
Yeah.
close, more close.
Any data vendor will tell you we're working on it, but until enough people bitch and complain about it, they won't touch it.
So let's do it.
Well, TradeStation moved their clearinghouse to Gain Capital this Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they actually promised that it's going to be DAX in there.
Oh, there's going to be DAX too?
Trading
Okay.
Starting on this Sunday. And they're going to make automation for futures.
Yeah, no, that's
Well, I mean,
that's huge for
for
Forex. Yeah. Yeah, we actually moved all of our Forex stuff to Gain because of that when we found that out. So it was like, that was huge.
One thing about TradeStation,
That's good.
never, ever upgrade unless you're forced to. Like right now,
Wait for the
there's a lot of
latest
people upgrading to like 8.1. There's so many bugs with 8.1. It's not even worth upgrading for. A lot of people, they'll say, oh, then you log in and you put your username and password and it goes, oh, you're using 8.0. You need to upgrade to 8.1. Yeah, don't do it. Because they end up breaking half the stuff they try to fix, and then...
Well, and what happens too is if you're in the first round of upgrades, you're the guinea pigs, right? I'm sorry, I'm trading. I'm not going to be a guinea pig, okay?
And TradeStation does it all the time. It's called a scheduled rollout.
Right.
I mean...
That brings up a question. How do you deal with the maintenance and the hardware and the software? You do this all yourself with folks that trade for a living? Do they?
We're gonna go. We're gonna go through that. It's actually not that big of a deal. Yeah.
Do you guys use the TradeStation's front end, or do you use a different front end for actual ordering?
I'll be talking about that. So for software, for quotes, that's one piece of it. TradeStation and eSignal, I like to use those. I'll do some swing trading through TradeStation and some automated trading through TradeStation, but most of my day trading I use through a separate brokers. And the reason is I like to use platforms that have, I call it smart order software. Okay, like with TradeStation or mini brokers, what you have to do is if you're in a day trade, you put on your trade, and then you have to put on your stop manually. Okay, what if you forget to put on your stop, right, Robert? Yeah, mental stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So the reason I like this software is what happens is it takes all of the manual work out of it. Okay, because normally what you do, okay, let's say I'm going long 20 lots to Dow. I got to manually put in my stop. I manually put in my target. I'm going to sell half. Now I got to manually change the quantity of my stop and manually move it higher. Yada yada yada. Then I reach my target. Now I got to go manually cancel the stop. I mean, you've got so many things going on during the day. I'm long and short a couple of different markets. It's easy to forget.
You have to remember to cancel it if it gets close.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't remember to cancel it, your stop becomes a new position when it's hit. So, yeah, and that's exciting. I'm long what? So the answer to that is there's software out there like the three that I'm familiar with and have used are Strategy Runner, Trade Maven, and Ninja Trader. And what they do is you pre-program all the parameters that you like. Okay, like here's a shot of like my Strategy Runner setup, and you'll see here that I'll notice okay, I'm going to bid for 30 lots of the Dow at 10.615. My profit target's 30 points. My stop loss is 20. If the price goes up 20 points, raise my stop 10. So now what happens is, and this is an OCO order, which is one cancels the other. What happens now is all I have to do is focus on my entry. Once I enter the trade, the parameters are automatically placed for me. The stop's automatically trailed if I want to do that, and the order is automatically canceled. So now as a trader, instead of having to get flustered and frustrated and do all these orders, I'm just waiting for the entry. Ding, I push the button, I'm in, I go have lunch. And literally, we were talking about, one of the guys was talking about watching every tick on the S&Ps all day long and being tired at the end of the day. Well, I went through the same thing, and it is tiring. When I get my trade, there's nothing I can do about it now. When I get my trade going, I literally will leave and go do something else, unless another setup comes up. I don't have to worry about it because the trading software is managing it for me. All right. So as a trader now, all I have to do is focus on entries. I don't have to worry about placing a mental stop or any of that stuff because it's all done for me.
But you don't scalp.
He does sometimes.
I do scalp, but not in the way that.
Well, I'm an anticipator.
Okay, I'm just.
I scalp.
Here, hold on. I know what you're going to say.
Here's the thing: corporate boy swings, country boy scalps.
What you can do on these things too is you can set it up so that you get into the trade. Let's say you get into the Dow trade, you can get 4 exit points: +2, +3, +4, +5.
I use Ninja and I use
like
TradeMate.
Yeah.
Both.
They're both good.
Except that you read about the lawsuit.
Yeah, TT.
Yeah.
TT.
Is that TT right there?
No, that's strategy.
No.
TT. I don't know who TT is. I'd like to sue him.
I actually cleared one of my accounts that I'll be trading with, so I'll show it to you tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's actually a good platform, but they own the Dome platform, so that's what they're trying to do is go in and get concessions for that, and they'll work it out. They want to settle everything.
But 10 cents a click, man. That's a lot of money.
You know how much this program right here?
Yeah, I don't use it.
Yeah.
How much?
I use TradeMate.
What you do is go back to your broker and just tell them to lower it by 20 cents.
How much did you?
No, that's not going to them. That's going.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to TT.
That doesn't matter. If the broker wants to keep your business, you lower it by 20 cents and it makes it up.
You know my broker, Miras.
Yeah,
they'll
They're good. Oh yeah,
They'll
do it. I mean, if you work with them,
just tell them to do it.
How much is?
Fantastic.
It'll range anywhere from 50 cents to $1 around turn every time you click a button with this one. What's the nickname we call it?
Oh, strategy runner, we call it soprano runner because the ones the VIG is the squeeze is 50 cents around turn. So I don't use strategy runner anymore. It's been using like either Ninja Trader or just doing my own stuff. But the nice thing is too is it'll line up like all these different contracts you'll have that you'll trade is I'll have the parameters on there throughout the day. So if I'm going along the EC or going short bonds or whatever, I already know the parameters I'm going to use. I just place the trades, and this way you can manage multiple markets and not have to sit there and stare at the screen. It makes for a very much more relaxed trading day and a more disciplined trading day because this stuff is already taken care of for you.
Have you ever had a glitch where you thought the parameters were set and it did something other than what you thought you had programmed it to do?
The only time it's done that is I'll see it and sit there and say, oh wow, what did it do here? And it's because I keyed in the data wrong. So it's kind of a garbage in, garbage out kind of a thing. So for the most part, I've seen that once I set it up, it's fine. That's Ninja Trader, kind of the same thing here. You just can sit there and just you just plug it in. And it's just kind of like my stop loss is 2. The target, my first target is 2, my third target is 2, everything like that. So you can it's pretty easy to just go in and program it. The point is that you've got a choice. Either you're going to go in and manually do everything, or you can use some of the software to kind of help you manage it. In my experience, using the software to help you manage it helps. If you're doing really high-speed scalping is really more manual, okay? But if you're not making money high-speed scalping, then that's another question that you need to ask yourself too. Is most of the time what I've seen from people that I see who do this for a living, even if they're scalping quite a bit, they're former pit traders who are scalping 100 times a day. If you're an offshore trader, doing more than like 10 or 15 trades a day is probably too much.
Is there much difference between Strategy Runner and Ninja Trader for the actual technical portion of putting it on, or is it just that extra 50 cents per?
Really, I mean, they're similar. Ninja Trader has a few more bells and whistles, and they're actually going to come out with an upgrade in about 2 or 3 months. That's going to be they're going to actually tie in all charting packages and stuff like that too. So it'll actually jump up to be the premier kind of platform of choice here in a couple of months.
Ninja's faster than Strategy Runner.
Yeah, it is a little bit faster than Strategy Runner. Strategy at this point, I mean, I actually used Strategy Runner for about 2 years, and I'm phasing out of it right now. It's still a good platform, but there's other ones out there that are up and coming.
And you're using Ninja now?
I use Ninja now for my own stuff. Yeah. John.
If you're looking for something to get your discipline going, this is the thing to use.
Exactly. And what happens here is if you have a discipline problem, rather than spend like 3 years trying to work on that, you just get this and it's solved. Okay, it's done.
You can always just use a GTC or
good till close.
Yeah.
There's a joke that we have. It's like when people place an order, like it's good till cancel, and then the market gets up to there, and then what happens is the brokers get inundated with calls. Okay, cancel my order. It's going to keep going, and then of course it comes back down. They lose all their money. Again, this thing, instead of using mental stops and mental targets, it's placing everything for you, and it makes it. I mean, I can't tell you how many traders I've talked to who could not do this for a living that switched to something like this, and now they can do it. Okay?
It's really very easy to use, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you hardly have to.
It's just
the
that,
concept, and you can use it.
yeah. I mean, it's not the holy grail. It's just it helps you with your discipline. What? Yeah. There's no holy grail. Yeah.
Ninja Trader, does it allow you to hook up this application to your account with whoever it is?
They've got a list of approved
Yeah.
brokers. Yes. They don't interface with everybody, but they do have on their website a list of approved brokers that their software will work with.
Have you guys used interactive brokers?
I don't personally use them. No.
Why wouldn't you guys use them?
The main thing is for like interactive brokers. For me personally, I have to have a broker that I can talk to. If something gets screwed, I mean, I don't want to. If I have to call and be on hold for 20 minutes, I'm going to kill someone.
I have respect for their business model. I mean, the account stuff is all done online. The customer service is all done online. But if you get stuck in a 40 lot or a 50 lot or a 100 lot, and I have to call somebody and I can't get through the order desk, I would freaking kill someone. I mean, it would drive me nuts.
This automatic software that places the stop orders for you and then trails the stop, where's the order held? Is it on your desktop or is it somewhere else? If the power goes down, do you lose?
It's held on their server.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you place your order and then your computer fries, your orders are still on their server. Okay. Let's jump into
Another reason that we use like eSignal or TradeStation for the data feed and then clear somewhere else is kind of gives you double security. Like you're never married to like a TradeStation.
It's like redundancy.
You're never married to an eSignal. You're never married to like a Realtik or something like that. So if their data feed goes down, you've still got your execution.
You ever notice that some of these data feeds conveniently go down at the worst time? And have you noticed that sometimes eSignal will be running and Realtik will work, and you can look back on Investor RT and their charts are running good.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yes, it's
just amazing.
Mainly, it all comes from like the CPOT or the CME, and then they're tied into whatever data vendor that's coming out of there. And if one of those servers goes down, it depends on the who's got the server. Yeah.
So this is just how my setup is right now, and I'm in the process of kind of moving and everything like that too. But I was talking about having separate screens for swing trading. So this is what I'll do. I mean, I'll sit here most of the day. I got my swing trading stuff over here that I can glance at, and this is my day trading setup. I've got a separate computer that I use for email, instant messaging, and things like that, because I don't want to get viruses and junk on my trading computers. I keep my trading computers clean. Backup laptop in case there's a blackout or a brownout. That's on a phone line, and it's always charged. So if cable goes down or electricity goes down, I can still, at least get some semblance of a quote. These just show daily charts of different markets that I can kind of look at. And then I'll keep CNBC on until about 10 o'clock Eastern, and then cut it off. If you overtrade or do things like that, one of the best things you can do is if you watch CNBC during the day, just turn it off. Okay, it's worthless. You don't need it. I was talking earlier about Martha. I think I've got a better shot of her now. Part of my kind of trading ritual is every couple of days. Martha's 2 feet long. I'll throw in a couple of goldfish in here and then watch them. Martha's a voracious predator. She's an arowana. She lives in Brazil. They get 6 feet long in the wild. And it just kind of, in terms of discipline and stuff like that, what happens is I realize that if I go into the market, with no stops or anything like that, I'm going to be a goldfish and Martha's going to be the market. And it only takes about 1 second for me to realize that that's not a good idea. Okay, so that's just kind of like a little trading ritual I have. I guess we should probably film that at some point.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good idea.
And we've tested other animals on her: crabs, crawfish, little lobsters. She gets them all.
Who's Martha's friend?
Oh, that's Billy Bob. He's a tiger shovel-nosed catfish, and he sits there all day, but is also, what happens is all the goldfish try to hide under him, and then he just sucks them up too. So. We did have a fish who made it into the car, and he stayed there for about 3 days, and then he got comfortable. As a trader, you don't want to get too comfortable with anything, so he decided to venture back out. Bam.
John, other than the laptop, how many computers support those 12 monitors?
Oh, good question. So how many computers are on here? And Hubert is going to go over his setup here in a second. I've got one computer here for these two, one computer here for this one. This is one computer, and that's one computer. So 1, 2, 3, it's four tower cases, and then the laptop. Could I run these on one powerful laptop? Yeah. I mean, one powerful desktop? Yeah. But part of it is just having, I like to run, eSignal, all the data is collecting here, TradeStation, all the data is collecting here, and so on.
Do you find that, I remember Pat at Nearest Future said if you run eSignal and your execution platform on the same computer, that eSignal will slow it down? Do you find that to be?
Yes.
If you're doing if you're going in like with market orders, it can make a slight difference. I mean, I almost always use limit orders getting in and out, so it doesn't matter. But it is something to be aware of. I mean, generally, like my execution platform, I like to keep kind of clean on its own computer as well.
But it's kind of like, it's just a software application though too, because TradeStation and Market Maven?
Okay.
What's the guy's name?
Trade Maven?
Yeah. TradeStation and Trade Maven have,
have
a
yeah.
thing where
you can't use them together.
The resources, it'll go like 100, like real quick. I mean, your machine will slow down to a crawl. For some reason, TradeStation and Trade Maven do not like each other. So that's one reason to get it off separate. But now, eSignal and Trade Maven may work fine. Okay. But I know Trade Maven has a thing where it slows up the PC.
Don't they do emails between each other or some crazy communication protocol?
Software companies don't care.
Well, in eSignal right now, this is all on a router, which is on a network. So if I'm on this computer, let's use the laser pointer. If I'm on that computer, I can access files from here. But if I've got eSignal on, I can't get into this computer. Like, it'll lock up my other computers. And it took me 3 or 4 months to figure that out. It's like, why is this locking up? But yeah, so it's just stuff like that. You just you figure out as you go along. This is there's Bill. This is how we set it up. Like if people come over to do a mentorship, and then there's Priyanka, who doesn't like her picture being taken, who helps us out there. I think we've got, what I'm going to do here is hand this over to Hubert. Now you remember, laser.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I will.
Oh, you got a laser pointer.
I will mess this up.
I'll just flip it forward for you.
All right, so this is my old setup too. It's changed a little bit, but not much. So this PC here runs the entire operation of all 6 of these, okay? You can't see, I've got another desk on this side and another desk on this side. I just use the Dell 20-inch flat panel monitors. You can pick them up anywhere from $450 to $600. They actually got a 24-inch monitor now that Dell's selling with a tower for I think $1,500. So it's a real good deal. So the Dells, and then I've got the arms that are just on the back. So I've got one arm supporting these 2 monitors, one arm supporting this monitor, and one arm supporting this monitor. The desk that I use is called an Anthro Fit System. It's a console unit. I've just got it stuck in a corner. Just the way my office is laid out, it works out good for me. This whole thing here is adjustable. You can see this little lever right here. I can squeeze it and make the desk come all the way up, the whole front of it. So if I'm setting and I'm tired of setting, I just squeeze the lever, come up, and the whole front of the desk is here. And the monitors are still right there in front of me, okay? They're elevated, thank God, because I had a water main bust not too long ago, and there was 2 inches of water in this room, which is a good thing they're elevated, so it didn't really cost me anything. Okay. This is a APC, UPC, a backup, battery backup, so if I lose power, I'm back up. This computer here is actually running another desk over here. And then I have another computer desk over here, but this PC runs all this garbage right here.
And these battery backups are really important. It's like one of those things that they don't really come in, they come in handy about once or twice a year, and you'll be really glad you had them. $50 or $70, at Office Depot or something like that.
Yeah.
What happens when the power goes out?
They start beeping like crazy.
Yeah, I mean your computer will only, with that many monitors, it's only going to run for like 10 or 15 minutes, but it'll give you time to exit positions, file close everything, so it doesn't just shut down, which can be kind of a nightmare.
No, I noticed when you have the APC on some systems, even with the APC you'll go down, but like other sources like Future Source or something like that, it'll continue to stay up.
You need a bigger APC. You need a bigger one, yeah. Like this is a huge one. I've got another one that supports this desk over here and this desk over here. They're smaller, and they'll last for like 5 minutes.
APC 1000?
APC 1000 will last. It'll run all this garbage here for like 10, 15 minutes. Got enough time to close down stuff. The graphics card that I use is a Matrox 200 MMS. It's a PCI card. It works really good. It'll support up to 4 monitors per PCI slot. Okay, so it means you can have 4 times 4 usually. So I've actually can put another set of monitors here and here if I want them. You can support it up to like 16 monitors. You can get them on eBay for about $70 to $150 off of eBay. Retail price will run you $400, $500, $600, something like that. Just all depends. Next slide. Oh, the computer is just a Dell 8400, and I've got new updated slides. And we'll go to Dell's website and we'll show you how to configure a PC and what you should use and what you shouldn't get. It's just have a gig of RAM. If you're using TradeStation, you just want a gig of RAM, 512 at least. And I usually have a gig of RAM in all my systems. Processor, I mean, you don't have anything fancy. I mean, the main thing is you want a fast internet connection. The processor is not that big of a deal. Just get whatever you think you need and can afford.
Probably, if you're going to choose, like if you're trying to pick and choose, like the best thing to get on a computer, the most important thing is the RAM.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's just, you see these computers for like $500, and what happens is they have these huge processors and like 256K of RAM. I mean, you can't do anything with that.
So now here you can see that the front of the desk is elevated now. So I squeezed the handle and just lifted it up. It takes like 2 seconds to do. It's all, the keyboard thing is almost the same size as the desk. It'll actually tilt and rotate too, for the ergonomics where you're sitting on your rear end all day long. I use a wireless keyboard and mouse, the newest wireless keyboard and mouse out by Logitech, the Laser 1000 or whatever it's called. It works good. The batteries never ever run out on the mouse. You just put them on a docking station. And I think I had to replace my batteries in my keyboard like once a year. It's just 2 AA's. They last forever. I do have backup keyboards and mice on this table over here in case, something bad did go wrong. I can still plug them back in. Chair's pretty important. I need to break my kid's arms. This is wide out right here. I use a Herman Miller chair. It's kind of expensive, but I mean, if you're sitting on your butt all day long, 8, 10, 12 hours a day trading, it's really important to have a comfortable chair. There's a couple other chairs. Steelcase makes, I think, a human scale, and there's another good chair out there too. But the chair will run you about anywhere from $600 to $1,000, but it's the best chair out there. Next. That's just another shot of the setup. I have it set up to where the first monitor is right here in front of my face, the one I'm main looking at, and then these 2 are angled. So I can set this close, and I can see everything. Because my peripheral vision picks up these 2 and this.
You can get close because you can move your.
Yeah, I mean, I can set as close, like this right here, and I can still see everything on all 6 buttons. In reality, I probably only use the bottom 3 most of the time. The bottom 3 is what I'm really looking at. I run the room on this one, and then I'm, surfing the web or doing something on this and got pit noise on this one, and then I execute my stuff on this PC right here on a separate. I'll do is I've just got my arm right here, and I'm looking, I go, ding, ding. So. Here's the LCD arms. The company that I use is just lcdarms.com. The specific model that I have is just a flex mount. It's a 9112-D. How it works is you mount this little flexi mount. You can either drill a hole through the table, you can mount it on the wall, or you can clamp it to the table. So make sure if you get a flex mount. These are all independent. So you can, you see how they're set up right here? Where this one's farther in front and this one's a little bit farther back. These are all independently rotate up and down, sideways, and one can be this close, one can be this far. Don't get the ones that are fixed. The fixed ones are good, but it's either all or nothing. You can either have all 6 in front of you, like this close, or they all have to be in the back, and you can't really bring them closer to you. So I like the adjustability of that thing. It's really, and I don't think they're that expensive. I get a lot of questions in the room and on the videos. How do you hook up like the video card to support more than one monitor? We'll go to eBay too, and I'll show you the cards. Just make sure when you order them that you get the little pigtails for the graphics card. It just sits. This plugs into one port. This plugs into one port of that graphics card, and it splits off and enables you to support up to 4 monitors on one card. Okay, pretty standard stuff. Dell PCs we use. This stuff's changed because Dell just launched their new desktops. So we'll have to update. We'll get on the internet. Oh, no, we won't.
Maybe tomorrow.
We'll get on the internet tomorrow. Models, the 4700, the 8400, the 9100, XPS Generation 5. Just goes back to, we've already went over this, just make sure you get at least 512 megs of RAM. A gig is better, 2 gigs is even better. Minimum processor speed, a Pentium 4, 2.8 gigahertz, get you a good size hard drive. This is not the most important thing, the hard drive, but try to make sure that you get one that's got at least a 7200 spin. The bigger hard drives usually don't have a 7200 spin, it just spins a little faster. Travel desktop replacement. When we travel, we use these little laptops here. They're called 700Ms. And I'll show you tomorrow when we have internet access, a couple of sites that you can use to get your laptops and your desktops and your flat panels a lot cheaper. Okay. But we just use these little things. And the first time we did seminars, we came in, we had desktops.
We're like, we have to ship our entire trading computers. We had, like four towers, like 8 monitors. That was insane.
And it was a nightmare. And we're like, dude, we can trade off the laptop. We might as well just bring the 2 laptops.
Could you put another monitor on that if you wanted to?
Yep, I brought two 20-inch LCDs, so
you could put 3 on if you had the card.
If you had the Appian card, yeah, you could. Yeah.
And when the currency market's open tonight, I'll just log in right here and just kind of update any positions or get back along the Swiss.
Next slide. Here's some links for websites where you can buy technology a little bit cheaper via rebates or coupons. This laptop usually goes for like $1,500, and we got them for like $700. The 24-inch big LCDs that Dell has out now, they're normally priced at like $1,000, but there was a rebate last week. I don't know if it's still active or not. You can get a desktop, the 9100 desktop, and a flat panel, a 24-inch flat panel for $1,500. And hell, the damn flat panel costs $1,000 just like that. And I mean, it was a good desktop too. So just make sure that you always, these are probably my favorite two right here, Tech Bargains and SlickDeals.net. How their little business model works up is these guys go up and sign up for all the little affiliate programs where they get a little kicker if you order through their link or you use their coupon. But you still get the huge discount, and it's no difference. The only caveat is if you're going to order 4 LCDs, like 4 20-inch monitors, you have to do 4 separate orders. It won't work. You can't put one little special code in there and order 4 of them. It'll be like, no, you only get credit for 1. So you have to just come back out, log back in. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but over 4 or 5 monitors, $2,000.
And it's a good trading exercise because why do you want to buy the highs?
Yes.
Probably the best shorting.
Probably the best bang for your buck right now is the 20-inch LCDs at Dell. They have a really good DPI. The 24-inch LCDs are nice, but they're still a little pricey because you can get the 20-inch LCDs from Dell for right now for like $360 to $450. And a lot of people, I've got friends that thought it would be a good idea to buy the 42-inch plasmas to trade off of. The DPIs suck on. I mean, the chart. You use them, but the charts are big, right? But the charts are big, right? The DPIs are you could actually for less money you can get 420s and you can see more stuff. I mean, it's a personal preference, but for the most bang for your buck, it's cheaper to get 4 20-inch LCDs than it is to get one 42-inch plasma screen. It sounds like a good idea,
but you also have the ergonomics.
Yeah, and plus the DPIs on the plasma is so big that when you put a time and sales or a chart up, it's huge. You can't really.
You can change your resolution.
Yeah.
Hubert, what kind of graphic card do you add to your laptop to be able to have 2 more monitors?
Well, on this one, it'll support up another one just by itself. We'll just plug it in. There's a company called Appian. Appian. You'll just put it in the PCI slot, and it's got another port where you can support up to 2 or 3 monitors extra.
What do you think of Digital
It's
Tiger?
Appian. Appian.
What do you think of Digital Tiger as a sidecar?
How much do they sell at PCs for?
Just the sidecar to support extra monitors, it's like $1,300.
Well, how much?
$1,300.
That's called rape. That's way too high. I mean, you can get. Are you talking just for a laptop?
For laptops, yeah.
That's a little high. We'll take a look at it. We'll have internet access tomorrow. We'll take a look at it. I mean, there's cheaper options out there. I think Appian's card's on like $450 or something like that. And it'll slide right in.
Is there something like a suitcase where you just open it and you have 2 monitors right in it where you can just carry it as a little
I'm not aware of one. There's one company that builds a double monitored laptop, but it's insanely expensive. I mean, it'll when it comes up, there's already 2 monitors up here. They're both the size of, and you'd be just better off just shipping off a desktop and 2 monitors.
So when you travel, you just take your laptop. You don't have like a.
This right here. I mean, it's odd because we're used to trading off of 6, 8, and 12 screens, but we'll just condense the information down on a 12-inch screen, just real small, and just trade setups.
I mean, when I was traveling like in Asia for those 2 weeks in April, it was I just had my laptop. I'd set up my trades in because the hours there were it's 12-hour difference. I'd set up my trades at night, wake up in the morning. It'd be the end of the trading day. It's like, see what happened. I did it all off this.
Like a layout of screens?
Yeah.
Would you guys show it to us?
Yeah, we'll show it to you. And you guys also have the ability to download like our trade station layouts and stuff. So yeah. And I'm going to try to go through and how many of you guys use TradeStation? How many of you guys use eSignal? I'm not going to be a whole lot of help to you eSignal guys. I just don't use eSignal. But I'll set and go through some basics of how to set up TradeStation and how I use it and stuff like that. We can do some sessions either during while we're recording or after. So tomorrow when we have internet, I'll just go through some stuff. Review sites, this is just good for like if you're not a techie or a little nerd or whatever. These are good sites to check out technology so that you know what kind of software or hardware you need to be buying. Okay? Do not buy unless you're just techophobic. There are some companies that just make trading PCs that they're already configured with TradeStation on it. If you can read email, you can download TradeStation. I mean, there's companies out there that will configure you up a PC with multiple monitors and the software is already on it, specially configured, ready to go for $27,000. When you could have bought the thing for $1,000 off a Dell site, got a card and 4 monitors for another $2,000. Software that you were asking, how do you keep everything up and running? So here's this section right here. On the software side, antivirus. Probably the best antivirus software out there right now is PC Cillin Internet Security 2005. Everybody's going to be their own preferences. This is just my personal preferences. I'm not a big fan of Norton. Norton, it's a little bit of a resource hog from time to time. Okay, so these are the ones that are they've been rated on CNET, PC World, Tom's Hardware, all the little review sites where the guys, all they do is eat and breathe technology. They go and review the stuff and go, okay, this is the best name brand, but this stuff works the best.
My problem, I had TradeStation about 8-9 years ago. The data feeds and the TradeStation, nobody ever took responsibility for why something wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I ended up trying to go into detailed techie files and try and make things work with the tech support guy on the phone. I spent more time doing that than I did trading.
The best thing about like Windows XP Pro now is they've got the rollback feature, the restore feature. So God forbid something goes bad, you download a piece of software, you did an upgrade, you can just go start, accessories, system tools, restore, and you can back it up yesterday or 2 weeks from yesterday.
Okay.
And then it'll just roll back and never download.
It's a great feature. It's just like
it works out pretty good. So that's what I use. I use PC Cillin Internet Security 2005. You can buy a 3 license deal for like $89 that'll support up to 3 PCs. They also have a new thing where it'll secure your wireless stuff too, because I actually trade at my home, in my home office, and my whole house has wireless internet access. But I've got it all secured, and this secures it for me. Anti-spyware, I use Adaware, the free version of Adaware, Spybot Search and Destroy, Microsoft's beta program, and then I also use SpySweeper. I use them all. I mean, the anti-spyware stuff is just insane. Now, I actually have a buddy that runs a spyware company. He makes a lot of money, but God, they're ruthless. I mean, that's all they do. When you go When you surf around the internet, just think about it's a boat going through water. Anytime you go somewhere, there's a barnacle attached to the bottom of the boat. They're tracking what you're doing, they're logging stuff, and then they're throwing up pop-ups in front. And it just slows down your surfing experience. And if you're dealing with execution, that's the reason we have our execution on total other PCs that they're not on the internet, other than just right to the execution platform. They're not surfing around, they don't have email.
Well, and sometimes too, all the spyware isn't high quality stuff. If you get a bad piece of spyware that's low quality, it can actually interfere with your registry system and stuff like that. It'll actually slow down your computer.
Now,
So
if you take the computer off of admin and put it on local user mode, I don't think they can load that stuff, can they?
I don't know.
I think you have a choice when you set it up. And if you don't set yourself up as admin, they can't load that stuff. Now, you can't load software yourself without going out to admin.
Okay. Yeah, don't know.
But that does help protect it.
I'm not sure if TradeStation works in that mode though. I think I tried that with TradeStation. I think it wouldn't work.
Oh, really?
When I put it in the non-admin mode.
Little detail,
It's worth checking out. Probably, if you just had to buy one, I would probably get this Spy Sweeper. It's pretty good. But this one's free, and this one's free. So get them all and just run them once a week. You'll be surprised. Like, you'll run this one, and it'll catch some stuff. You'll run this one, it will catch stuff that this one didn't catch. Then you'll run this one, it'll catch stuff that these two didn't catch. And then this one finishes up the job. It's not that hard. Just set it on there, just let it run, let it get all the little parasites off the system, and just move on to the next thing. Just do it once a week. Anti-spam. Who's got problems with like email spam? Not too bad. Mailwasher Pro's really good. Mail Frontier or CloudMark's really good. I like this one the best if you use Outlook. If you use Firefox or Thunderbird, they've got a really good built-in one. But CloudMark's really good if you use Outlook or Outlook Express. They've got a whole community where a lot of people go, oh, that's spam, and it'll flag it on your machine as spam too. All you do is we get a ton.
It was a miracle when I installed it.
Of emails, like from the nightly videos, and then all the little.
Well, it's trying to figure out like
parasites from the server for your web address.
Well, yeah. What happens is the spiders come in, and they since our emails on the website, we just get. I mean, literally, we're getting 100, 150 emails a day. I'm like trying to answer trading questions, but then trying to sift through the ads for Viagra and stuff like that. It's just like it's like hey, I got enough. And it's like, so it's like I installed this CloudMark on, and it's just like as soon as it was installed, I found out about it from Hubert. I mean, literally, they all went away. It's like done. I mean, it was amazing.
CloudMark.
What's the web?
I don't know.
Google CloudMark.
Yeah, just Google CloudMark and you'll find it. I think it's like $49 or something like for a year or something. Hard drive backup software, important. How many people has ever lost a hard drive? Yeah, it is a nightmare. And the other people that didn't raise your hand, you will lose a hard drive. You may not think you're going to lose a hard drive, but you will. It's the worst thing. It takes anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks to get all your stuff back up and running. But these programs will actually make it easier. It just takes a little bit of thought into it, and it'll automatically do it after you've got it set up. Spend $200-300. So then the next time you lose a hard drive, boom, you're up.
Is it RAID?
Huh?
Is it RAID or does it?
No, don't use any RAID stuff.
What's the best? Right now, I've got a 200 gig drive. I want to go ahead and put into an older system. I want to go ahead and pull. I'd love to just copy everything over to that new drive. Usually, you can't just do that. Can you ghost it?
What operating system?
XP.
They use a program called Casper. CASPER. It will actually copy that hard drive and put it on that 200 gig hard drive. And then you can take that, make your 200 gig hard drive your primary one, and then just keep that one as a backup in case Casper doesn't image the drive correctly. But I use Casper on stuff like that. It works perfect.
And didn't I hear something a long time ago that XP marries the license code to the hard drive? Is that still true?
I don't know. I know I've used Casper in that situation. It works perfect. It's a little $49 program. It's right here. It's called Casper XP. Hard drive backup software. This one's no longer available. PowerQuest Drive Image 7. It's no longer available in the U.S. You can Google it and find it. You might find some people still selling it. They got bought up by Symantec, which means now Symantec they'll butcher the program.
They'll screw that one, yeah.
But I actually use that one still. You can still find it on the internet. If you don't use the PowerQuest one, probably my second choice is the Ancros True Image. It works really good. All they do is they just incrementally back up your PC hard drive. It'll either do an entire snapshot or it'll incrementally do it for you. And it'll save you a ton of time.
This question for this Casper XP, does it take the whole disk and transfers the data, including you can just boot the computer from the new disk?
Casper does, yeah.
Really?
It's only for XP though.
Does an XP have a built-in program to do that?
Yeah, we upgrade.
I have no
It's
clue.
pretty good.
I have no clue. That's not mine. Another program that I use is, for the hard drive backups. Probably the best deal out there is the Matrox One Touch, or you can build your own backups. I have one where I have a terabyte of storage. I bought a little thing where it looks like a little mini PC. You can buy them on eBay for like $300, and then I can actually turn the lock and it turns on the removable hard drive. It looks like a tape backup system, but I have 250 gigs 4 times in there. So I have like a terabyte of storage. It just backs up everything off my network. It's not that hard to do. It runs off FireWire, and then it uses the software to back up all the stuff. And hard drives are pretty inexpensive now. They used to be a little high, but I just use that. But if you don't have that option, just use the Matrox One Touch, or you can actually install an extra hard drive in your system as a secondary one and just have everything copied over, which is a good way to do it too. Another program that you gotta have is the Auto Disk Fragger. It's called Disk Keeper by Executive Software. The Microsoft one works fine. It's just slow as Christmas. And it doesn't clean up as good as Disk Keeper does. I just set it. It runs every night at 3 o'clock. I wake up in the morning.
You do it every night?
Yeah, every night. When I wake up in the morning, my hard drive's been defragged, and I don't have to worry. It's got a feature on there called Set It and Forget It.
That's great.
Yeah, I love it. A lot of people, some of the techies are like, man, it doesn't really help, and defragging. Yeah, it does help when you anytime you notice when you go start programs, it's going. And then after you defrag it, it does it quicker.
And the set it and forget it feature is really good too. Like remembering your wife's anniversary, things like that. It's like,
do you find that also on Google search and then executive software? Or is it executivesoftware.com?
It is executivesoftware.com or executive. Just do a thing for Disk Keeper.
Okay.
Disk Keeper, Google. I'll put a resource page together for you guys too. With all the links. I'll just blast an email going, here's the links for you guys. Firewall software, best stuff out there is probably Zone Alarm. It's pretty good. You don't like it. What do you like?
I use appliances.
Okay.
Right. I don't, except for my laptop, which I use.
You're more of a techie guy, though. You think?
What?
You more of a techie guy? Computer
not
guy?
Personally, but I use techie.
Okay. That's a good one too. And there's a couple. There's I think it's called Black or Ice or Black Ice or something. They're not bad. I like Zone Alarm. It's just because I grew up using Zone Alarm.
Are all these going to work on 2000 Pro?
All this stuff will work on 2000 Pro except Casper. And I think Casper's got an older version that works on 98 and 2000 Pro and stuff like that. Windows. Search program. This it doesn't have anything pertaining to trading. It's just a software called Copernic. If you've ever had to look for an email attachment and using the search feature in Windows or something, it takes forever. This thing just indexes everything on your hard drive. And like you can say, if somebody had a question about an indicator, and I knew his name was Bill, I just type in indicator and Bill, it finds it in like 2 seconds.
Do you run that all the time?
Yeah, it's free. It doesn't cost a
No,
dollar.
I mean, do you run it as your emails come in and your...
Oh, I got to store indexes once a day.
Once, okay.
Yeah, at night. Excellent.
X1 does it too.
Yeah, X1's good too. X1's really fast too.
Okay.
All right, we got 10 minutes.
Yep. We'll get through this.
Okay.
Hubert, one question on your setup. The radio backup, is that...
Oh, the retro
is that the name of it?
That's
what
just
is that?
that's a battery backup.
The battery backup.
Yeah, it's an APC. It's called a uninterrupted power supply. The
Okay.
company that I use is APC 1000. You can get them at CompUSA for like $100, $150.
Okay, what I'm going to do is we've got about 10 minutes before we're going to wrap up this tape, and then we'll take a quick break. I want to actually finish this and go through the next section, because the next section won't take long. What this is just kind of also too, in terms of once my stuff is set up, and this is stuff that I'm going to go through more during the trading plan. But once you have your computer set up and everything like that, you also want to kind of establish your trading parameters in terms of, you know, when you allow people to kind of call you and stuff like that. And that's all kind of part of this. That's something I'm going to go into detail in the trading plan, and we'll share with you a little bit more then. Yeah, trading plan. Okay, so what I want to do real quick, because I can cover this in this amount of time because this is a pretty experienced group, is I want to go through, just make sure everybody kind of understands the markets that we're going to be talking about in terms of the parameters and the P&Ls and stuff like that. This right here is really kind of more for you know, people who've only traded stocks and have never traded futures. Generally, I found if people have only traded stocks, futures kind of seem a little bit scary. Most of you guys in here have already traded futures. I think the main thing to remember is that, you know, if you're long one Dow contract and the market moves against you 20 points, you lost $100. Okay, it's not like it's a really highly leveraged instrument. And people get scared that, you know, they're going to lose $10,000 on something like that. And again, when it comes into this, it's the discipline of using your stops and your setups and things like that. So what I want to do is just make sure, like, everybody understands the parameters here. Okay, so this is the main thing. In terms of, like, if we're talking about the S&P and, you know, hey, here's a trade, we're going to do 2 points in the S&P. Well, 1 point in the S&P is $50. Okay, so obviously if you catch 2 points, it's $100. So in the Russell moves at $20 per point. I personally do not day trade the NASDAQ, and I don't really recommend it as a day trading vehicle. Okay, it's got a wide spread, and it's only $20 a point. I will swing trade it. The Russell is one of my favorite ones also for swing trading, and it's also a really good day trading one.
It's a little thin though for size.
Yeah. The best thing about the Russell in terms of, you know, you're looking at point ranges throughout the day. The thing about a lot of these is a trader, what you're most interested in is the P&L range, okay? Which one moves the most during the day? Of all the four stock indexes, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell actually has the biggest P&L movement during the day. So you have more opportunity to make trades in that. Of course, that opportunity goes both ways. But, you know, whereas the S&P will trade in a range of about $350 a day sometimes, you know, one point per $50, the Russell will be 900. And that's kind of a typical ratio there. So just something to keep in mind. The mini-size Dow, even though it looks like it's the lowest on here at only $5 per point, remember it's identical to this. When the S&P moves a point, the Dow moves approximately 10 points. 10 points in the Dow is $50. 1 point on the S&P is $50. Okay? Bonds. How many people in here trade the 30-year bonds? Just a couple people? Okay. If you're not familiar with bonds, bonds are a really good market to trade. How they work is in ticks. They move in 30 seconds. A movement of 1 32nd is $31.25. Okay? A full point in the bonds is 32 30-seconds, and that's $1,000. So if you just remember that if you catch 4 ticks in the bonds, it's like catching 25 points in the Dow. Okay? Or it's like catching 2.5 points in the S&Ps. So just kind of relate to it that way. The euro currency is $12.50 per tick. Now, in comparing that to Forex, the Euro USD cross is $10 per pip. Okay? Maybe a little confusing thing about Forex, not every pip is worth $10. If it's based with the US currency, it's worth $10. But for example, like the Euro Sterling cross is around $18 to $19 a pip. Okay? It's based on the exchange rate of the currencies and some things like that.
What's a PIP stand for?
PIP is a price interest point, so it's just based on the cash market.
What's the difference in trading Forex and on the CME Euro?
You know, that's a good question, Hubert. Have you had that asked before? We'll talk about this more. I mean, I trade both the EC and Forex. Okay, I've kind of gravitated more towards Forex just because there's a lot more options in Forex. By not options, I don't mean options the instrument. I mean options like on the CME, really the main liquid currency there is the euro. Okay. If you're interested in trading the yen or the pound, a lot of times on the CME, that volume just dries up, especially after hours. So the Forex cash market, you have more volume and you have more choices between currency pairs. So that's the main thing there. Then generally with Forex, I'll trade the 6 majors that are against the U.S. currency. You get the euro, you get the euro, you get the loonie, which is Canada. The Swissy, which is the Swiss. You got cable, which is the pound. and then the yen, and it's just all the major crosses against the dollar. I also like the euro-yen cross and then the euro-sterling cross. So that's 8 markets to look at, and they're pretty good trading opportunities. Single stock futures. Anybody here trade single stock futures? Pretty much what I like to do with single stock futures is swing trade them. I'm going to have a section on that I'll talk about, but pretty much if you own one contract, it's like owning 100 shares. So if it moves $1, that's $100.
Now, when you said your introduction, in my experience, once you understand and then trade futures, you never go back to day trading stocks.
Right.
Are you speaking of futures on stocks?
No. When I say once you try trading futures, you never go back to stocks. I'm specifically talking about like the mini futures, like the Dow and the S&P. The single stock futures, and again, I'll talk about them more. They're still in a growing phase. They're great for swing trading. I don't like them so much for day trading at this point. Although some of the thicker ones, like Amazon and Google, is having some volume coming into it. But in general, when I'm talking about futures, I'm talking like the mini Dow, the mini S&P, and things like that. So just as an example, I'm not going to go through all these because you guys know. I just want to go through one example here. As you trade different cross markets, what you need is just to get like an index card to know kind of like where your stops are going to be equivalent, okay? What I mean by that is that if you make 40 points here, let's say this is, if you lose 40 points or make 40 points, you need to know monetarily what that's going to mean, okay? In this case, for the Dow, it's $200, which is going to be the same as 4 S&P points, or 10 NASDAQ points, or 2 Russell points, or 6 bond ticks, or 16 Euro ticks, okay? So if you've decided you don't want to lose more than $200 per trade, well, guess what? You should know what $200 is in all these different contracts, and that way that'll save you. What'll happen a lot of times, as people are trading the Dow and they use a 20-point stop, and then they jump in the same amount of the DAX and use a 20-point stop. Well, the DAX is like trading the big S&Ps. It's 5 times bigger than the Dow. Okay, your first what you think is going to be a $200 per contract loss becomes a $1,000 per contract loss. All right, that's just stuff that just to be aware of there.
Little details.
Little detail.
Can I just make a point? Remember, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago when the S&Ps went down for like 4 or 5 hours, you guys were inundated with questions in terms of like how to hedge that. And I had never thought of it before, so like that was my motivation to know that number.
Oh, for talking
Remember
about
they went down for like 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah.
Like, you might have been on a plane.
How to get out of the trade.
Okay. So
everybody wanted to know that was already in
Yeah.
the ES position what to do because no one knew.
Yeah, the main thing to do with that is I've never seen the CBOT and the CME go down simultaneously. So if Globex goes down and you're in an S&P trade, you're long 5 contracts. You just go into the CBOT, you go short 5 Dow contracts, mini Dow contracts, and now you've got a hedge.
Right.
That happens maybe once a year. It's something to be aware of. But that's it's a good point. And really, again, the rest of the stuff, it's really kind of more beginning stuff, and you guys know it. With futures, you have the opportunity to trade futures in an IRA account through a trust fund, through a trust. I used to be a big trader of OEX options, and I found so many times where I'd be right on the move and still not make money because of the combination of the spread in the OEX options and then the premium fluctuation.
Because options are the devil's work.
Hubert hates options. It's the OEX 100. It's the biggest 100 stocks out there.
That's going to be the biggest shell game ever. You can buy an option, but if it goes up, you're still not going to make money on it.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to come back and talk about intraday indicators. So we can take a quick break here and come back with that. Okay.